Hi guys. So for my current event article, I found it on edweek.org and it is called Immigrant Students Are Internalizing Stereotypes. Educators Can Help. So the article first talks about how a quarter of all US children are first and second generation immigrants. However, many of the immigrant students find their place in our country to be a challenge, which I found to be very, very sad. So, researchers from the University of California and the Reimaging Migration nonprofit organization showed evidence that immigrant children and youths are aware of the intolerance that they feel towards them. So, the researchers conducted a study from 1997 to 2002, and they interviewed 400 newcomer public school students from the ages between 10 through 14. And they were from the Boston and California area, and these students arrived from many different countries. And they asked the immigrant students this one question. Most Americans think. Then they filled in the immigrant students' country are. And the study showed that 65% of immigrant children responded with a negative answer. And the word that most immigrant students used to describe how Americans felt about them was the word bad. So, for example, let's say they interviewed a student from Nepal. They asked the question, most Americans think that Nepalian students are, and the Nepalian student answered with bad. So that's pretty sad that these students ages 10 to 14 feel that way. Also, one student said that most Americans think that Mexicans are lazy and drug addicts. And researchers surveyed some newcomers today in 2017, and the immigrant students still perceive negative attitudes about themselves. And I found this very, very sad that our immigrant students are feeling this way and unwanted in our country. And actually, I was home this weekend and I was talking to my mom about the article, and I was telling her how I felt sad that our immigrant students are feeling this way. And my mom actually came to Canada from Venezuela in the 60s. And she was a little girl who could only speak Spanish. And I believe my mom was only 6 or 7 when she came over, so she was either in first or second grade. And I asked my mom how she felt in her new school when she came to Canada, and she said that she felt alone and that she felt like the teachers didn't care about her. So I felt that was really sad for my mom, that she went through that, and my grandparents were coming over to start a new life in Canada, and my mom felt this way. So I thought it was interesting that from the 60s when my mom came to Canada to now in 2017, that some of our students are feeling the same way. So at the end of the article, it pointed out how educators really need to make sure that their classroom is a place for listening. So teachers really need to listen to their students and talk to their students about how they are feeling. Educators also need to teach other students about bullying, hate, and intolerance. They need to tell their students treating someone from an immigrant country they should all be treated the same. So we really need to show our immigrant students that we care about them and that our school is a safe place for them, and that they feel part of our classroom community. So a discussion I was thinking that you guys could talk about in class was, what are some other ways in the classroom where you can help immigrant students feel at home and comfortable with their peers? Because coming from a new country, the students obviously feel scared, they feel alone, and it is our job as future teachers that our students feel welcome in our classroom. So I thought this article was very eye-opening to show us that our students don't feel welcome and they feel upset that they aren't accepted within our classroom. So this is something definitely to think about as an ESL teacher.